Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion Network's premier media podcast. Every week we get together to talk about movies, TV, and online content and help you answer the question, is it crazy that the project is going to end after 16 years on Channel 10? Bizarre. I'm your host, Ashley Obley. Join me today, Dylan Blight.
Yeah, I really want to know, has it like declining viewers or?
That's what they're saying, but is that the show's fault or is that standard TV's fault? You know what I mean? Free to air television in general is losing viewers.
I haven't watched the project in over 5 years.
Oh no, absolutely not. But it just seems like a mainstay.
I did watch it religiously when it first started. Yeah, for the first couple of years, I would watch it religiously, but it hasn't really been anything near mine. So when I read it yesterday, I was like, okay, I thought that was just part of the 10
ecosystem.
Like,
it was like ironed in, baked in. It's like if they cancelled Sunrise or the Today Show.
Well, yeah, I mean, to a bit. It also just makes you wonder because obviously that show employs
so many people. It runs 6 days a week. That's 6 hours of television that they need to fill now.
Yeah. So, I'm sure there's some reality farmer wants to buy a TV show.
Just fill it with cheap seats. 6 days cheap seats. Here you go. Get you back.
I'm looking forward to Cheap Seats this week to see if they have a dig, but or if it's too fubar, I don't know.
Wait till they're actually off.
I don't know if you know this. I didn't know this. I never clicked onto this. I'd never seen it since. Years and years and years ago, there was a picture of someone posing with Giancarlo Esposito with a banana.
Yeah.
I did not realize until this week that was Melanie Racewell.
I think she's brought it up like a few times, like over the years,
Actually, maybe I've just zoned out every time, or I have the same shocked reaction.
You're so focused
about it, like a dog or something. Yeah, I don't know, but
it was that glow up.
Maybe, yeah. When she posted it again this week with a new one. I was like, oh, that's you.
Yeah.
Good bit.
On today's show, we'll be talking about what's in our watch history, going over a little bit of film news, giving some thumb to the trailers, and giving this week's top 3. Quick bit of content news. Obviously, we finished our run of The Road to the Karate Kid Legends by doing a full spoiler discussion of the Karate Kid Legends last week. That's crazy. It's been like 4 weeks since we did that. Only a week. So check that out on the podcast feed. But Dylan, do you want to share your non-spoilery thoughts since he hasn't shared them here on that film?
I was thinking for a sec. Didn't we talk about it last week? But you talked about it.
I talked about it.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed it. I thought it was. I'll say I proved you wrong because I'm remembering you saying that. Yeah, I'm remembering
you break my heart again.
Looking forward to me breaking your heart. I don't think I break your heart. I complained about some things, but overall, I'd say I enjoyed the film and it felt like a weird mix of. I enjoyed the new stuff more than the old stuff, which was I think the most interesting part for me. Obviously, we did this whole rewatch. We get see Daniel and. We watch the new Karate Kid movie, so we get introduced to Jackie Chan's Lee, and then by the time we get to the movie, I'm like, I don't know, guys. Either you needed more of them to make this not feel as forced, or just take them out of it. That would be how I feel. Because which is I think a testament to how much I was enjoying the chemistry between the main 3 new characters, I guess.
Yeah. I think we made a bunch of good points in our spoilercast that they didn't just write it off. So check that out. On the podcast, it was good. The whole series. Just listen to all of it. So this past weekend, I got the opportunity to go see How to Train Your Dragon, the new live action adaptation of I think it's 2010, or 2009, one or the other.
2010. I just googled it.
DreamWorks animated film, that was Academy Award winning. I believe. Surely, right?
I do not remember that much, but
maybe it wasn't.
Ooh, 25 wins. It was a nominee.
That's
Didn't
crazy. What did it lose to?
win.
Oh, that's why I'm on the wrong page. I'm on the wrong.
Rango.
That's rough. Anyway, a beloved film that made a ton of money. Yeah, I mean, it follows the same story. It's about a young Viking kid named Hiccup who lives on the island of Berk, where they're constantly being attacked by dragons. His father's the chief. This time, in this film, played again by Jared Butler, who wants him to become a dragon slayer. But when he finally has an opportunity to kill a dragon, he can't do it, and then end up befriends the dragon, who he calls Toothless. And he has to kind of keep that secret from his village as he is being trained to kill dragons. I guess is like a really odd way of putting the movie together.
That's about it, I think.
I mean, it's fair to say it's a very beloved movie. I think it's like a 10 out of 10. This is it's very interesting. Obviously, it's being directed by Dean Du Bois, who is one of the directors of the original film.
The same guy literally spent the last 15 years making 3 animated films, the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy, finished the trilogy, and then said, you know what? Start it up again.
It's like, no, I don't want anyone else to mess this up.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same thing, unsurprisingly. People say it's a shot-for-shot remake, but you know, it's definitely not shot-for-shot. Like, you know, sometimes the tree hits him in the face from the other side of the camera.
Oh.
And there's like other small tweaks and that kind of thing. I think. I mean, the most important thing is it captures the heart and feel of the film. It captures all the excitement of the flying elements. You know, they bring back the score, which is such a fantastic, iconic score. It's just like the realistic elements that they have to just accept as part of shooting it in live action. Primarily, when it's dark, it's dark. Not like how you can have in animation, you kind of brighten it up so you can see things more clearly. Is they're clearly shooting in dark or at night to like cover up some of the side of special effects and that kind of stuff, and like I think at the end they yeah, I mean that's my main upset thing is
how do you feel? My main question about the special effects is like, and I've been waiting until I watch it in full context to see how it vibes with me. But obviously they've just kept the design of the dragons more or less. Like they're
pretty much they've done like maybe a little bit more realistic eyes.
Yeah, but they didn't try to like make them more quote unquote realistic for the live action.
But I get, yeah. I mean they mostly kept the designs.
I mean when you still have Toothless with his big eyes, like he looks more like a cartoon character than the rest of the humans. You know?
Yeah.
That doesn't bother you?
No, I just accepted that's how the dragons look, you know? Okay. Like, dragons aren't real, so they can look however they look. You know what I mean? I don't think he's as animated as he is in the TV show. In the animated film. You know? He doesn't have quite as much energy, I guess, would be something, whether they just cut back a little bit on that. For budgetary reasons and that kind of thing. But, you know, it looks like Toothless when he's flying around. It's fantastic. When you need those moments of heart and feel, it's great. But the other weird thing is the relationship with Astrid, played by Nico Parker, who does a good job with what she's given. But, like, in the animated film, it felt like she just kind of didn't know who Hiccup was. Or, like, you know, he's not a fighter, so it doesn't really matter who he is. And then she gets upset because he's kind of showing her up. This one, she kind of holds a grudge because he is the son of the chief and like is kind of, you know, a bumbling fool and is allowed to kind of get away with everything. So she literally holds a grudge and then proceeds to fall in love with him in the course of one flight. You know, that arc feels a little bit unrealistic. Don't know why they changed it like that. Other little tweaks is like the twins are not identical twins anymore. I guess because they couldn't find. So
there's no twins out there. There's no twin actors.
Yeah, there's no twin like male female identical twins. I think that's a bit harder to find. To be fair, you know, it's a fun gag, sight gag. So they kind of play the opposite, where they're like, oh yeah, everybody confuses us for each other, but they look nothing alike, and that kind of stuff. I think most of the kids were pretty good. I mean, Julian Dennison plays
Julian Dennison.
No, Fish Guts, the nerdy dude.
Julian Dennison plays Julian Dennison.
No, because he wasn't swearing the entire time. So,
okay.
You know, it's just very weird, and like he feels like a little bit tame, especially compared to everything else he's done. So, I really enjoyed Nick Frost. He plays.
What do you? Fuck you, Dragon Brew.
Fuck you, dragons. You know, but he's making nerdy references about, you know, he's got jaw strength of 18, and he pulls out a stack of cards and that kind of thing later. But Nick Frost plays Gobber, like who Craig Ferguson voiced in the animated film, and I think he does a really good job of that. I really like the kid who plays Snotlout, the guy who's voiced by Jonah Hill in the film, the animated film. Yeah, I mean, it's all pretty fantastic. It's just not the animated film, and I feel like that if this had been released without the animated film, I think people would be raving about it. But because it is coming on the back of that,
there's a certain point.
It's not going to get the same amount of love.
You just hit a point where you're like, "What's the point?" You know.
I mean, I know for a fact that it is purely a consolidation of IP, and it's a more of a business decision than an artistic decision.
Yeah.
But the fact is, people have always been obsessed with seeing these stories in real life. You know, there is an obsession, as much as we say animation is film, is cinema, it's art, and should be held to the same standard. It's not. There are people who will go see this story now because it's in live action, and I'm sure it's going to make a ton of money. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I feel like we may be coming to the end of this arc of animated remakes. I don't know how many they've got left.
This is your first DreamWorks one. I'm surprised you didn't do the top 3 this week as top 3 DreamWorks properties they should.
I don't know if they could. Do you think they would do a Shrek? Like, I was thinking about talking about this, so
Shrek,
might as well, seeing as you brought it
Turbo,
up. Do you
flushed away?
Do you think they do live action versions of those?
In a world where they're doing live action, Lilo and Stitch and Lion King, I don't want to say you can't make any of these things happen.
I mean, I think Shrek isn't unrealistic. It's like, of all their properties, it's probably the most realistic.
Mike Myers in a costume. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they've got Shrek the musical where guys just dress up as an ogre, and there's enough human characters to make it realistic that they do that.
Well, Farquaad is a human, right? So
yeah, you just need to. That'd be
would it be short person. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but I don't know if you'd want me to. You know, like they're not going to do a Kung Fu Panda live action remake. I don't imagine.
Why not?
Because there's no humans.
Yeah, but like they already did Lion King, and that was live action.
But I don't think they haven't done a live action version of an anthropomorphic animals. You know what I mean? That's the same reason I don't think they're going to do a Zootopia live action film. In quotation marks, live action. They're not going to do a live action Robin Hood, Disney's Robin Hood. You know, they might do a Madagascar.
The Cruise would be the next one then, because that's quite popular.
The Cruise, yeah, I mean, that's possible. There's at least 2 of them.
Now. Or was it 2?
You know, maybe they'll play into the meme and they do a live action remake of the B movie.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but even on the Disney side, it's like, what have they got left? Probably Treasure Planet and Atlantis, which are 2 of the.
Then they just start again, you know. Then they do remakes of the remake.
We'll do 3D animated versions of all the 2D animated movies.
They're like it's a it's based on a live action version. This animated film.
Sure, why not? Yeah, I had a good enough time. I think the spectacle of it is really enjoyable, and that's probably what you're going for, and just the thrill of seeing and imagining this is what it would be like in real life if these dragons were all about, and that kind of stuff. So, and it did capture all the heart and feels, because at its core, it's a father son story, a coming of age story, um, and a boy and his best friend who's a animal who can't talk back story. Yeah. Are you planning to check it out, or you no?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I got the book tickets for the Thursday.
Oh, good. So look forward to talking about that next week. But this week, you checked out the latest entry in the John Wick expanded universe from the world of John Wick, Ballerina.
Dumb title. It's so annoying because the film's just called Ballerina, and you can tell that they, for SEO reasons, changed it to.
Which did not work, apparently.
Yeah, they just want John Wick in the title. They want John Wick in the title. They want John Wick in the movie. So yeah, this is the story of Eve, who's played by Ana de Armas. She is a new character, not seen in the series before. She is basically her movie starts with her being as a little girl. Her dad is killed. All these people that come in, you have an action scene that starts the movie. Dad's killed. She's picked up and then basically adopted by I can't remember her name, but the woman that runs the Ballerina place that we visit in John Wick 2 and 3, I think, but definitely 3 because that's the one where this ties in. So this movie takes place during John Wick 3. They make sure to point that out. But about half an hour or 45 minutes into the movie, they redo. You see John Wick coming into the building. We have that scene where the owner of the place is doing the whole thing, where she's like, "All this over a dog," and John Wick's like, "Not just a dog," that whole thing. And then they have Ana de Armas talk to John Wick there. So to really, for some reason, they want to A, have John Wick in the movie, and then B, really ground when this is taking place because reasons, I guess. I don't know. I think so. Basically, Ana de Armas' character trains there for her up until her early 20s or whatever, and she basically becomes a trained assassin. Of course, that's the whole thing. And then she does a job, and eventually or a couple jobs, and we skip ahead in time. And she discovers this symbol on a guy's arm, which is the same symbol of the people who murdered their father. The boss lady of the place tells her not to investigate them. There's some secretive cult that they have an agreement with, so she tells her not to go do it. Of course, she wants to hunt them down anyway because they're the people that killed her father. She basically, and then she goes on a mission to hunt them down. Basically, is the story. And because there's this weird agreement thing in the background that we won't talk to you if you don't talk to us, between the organization and this weird cult people, that means that when she goes there and starts causing trouble, that they send in John Wick to stop her, basically, which is what you see in the trailer. That's how the movie plays out, more or less. I think I'll get it out of the way. I think the insertion of the John Wick stuff is odd. You can definitely tell it was part of the reshoots that they would have done to add him in. I don't know why, because he gets a couple action scenes. One, he gets one that isn't even with Ana de Armas. They just cut away and show Keanu doing John Wick again, which does just make me wonder if he came in and shot a day of action scenes and was like, "Man, this is fun, let's do another one." I don't know because he's just doing his usual thing. It's only a 30-second, 45-second scene, but it's just him kicking a bunch of dudes' ass. But but the other thing is, I don't know why they feel like they needed him, because the best action scene in the movie does have Ana de Armas in it. And they didn't. It has nothing to do with John Wick being involved at all. So I'm just a bit confused why they felt they needed that in there. Because I guess that was the question coming into this. The John Wick franchise, obviously known for Keanu being such a front man for the stunts and fights, and you bring someone else into the franchise, will they be able to live up to that standard and stuff? I'll say, obviously, I don't think this is shocking to say that she's not Keanu, but that's fine. However, the stuff they get her to do, they choose to do this really cool. Like, you see her do a lot of fighting stuff, and like, major props to Ana de Armas. Like, and this is what's she was really good, obviously, in the last Bond movie, and she's proved herself, I think, multiple times. She is really good in action movies, and she's really good in this movie. It's just you're comparing her to the level that Keanu goes to in the John Wick films. But they give her this really cool, stunning the way it was shot, really. And I can't wait for more people to start talking. I've seen no one, like, someone's going to rip it, but like, because I thought it was really, really cool. They have a scene basically where she's like doing a flamethrower fight with this other dude, like constantly, like, they're like shooting backwards and forwards with like flamethrowers from one another, and they have like an overhead shot, and there's fucking people burning everywhere, and all sorts of stuff. It's really cool. So like, I think they instead of like going, oh, with Keanu does a lot of fast pace, like constant, like, let's do something a little bit different, and they're playing to that. I think her whole story of just trying to get revenge for her father is fine. It's not like it's a series that's known for too elaborate. We started with a man whose dog got killed. Like, let's not attempt to say there's a lot in the background of this franchise, but I think it was decent. They leave it open for another one. Like, not even open. They set it up for another one at the end. So hopefully they get to make that, because I'd be happy to watch more. I just hope they would
have
be more open to just have a bit more faith and just Ana de Armas to carry it, because the Keanu stuff not needed at all.
Yeah, I mean, it. From what I'm reading, it made $50.5 million worldwide on its opening weekend for a budget of $80 to $90 million. From all reports I've heard, people have really enjoyed it, but nobody's going to see it. I wonder why. Is it because they're John Wicked out, or is it because it's a woman? I think we know. We all remember Furiosa last year, right?
Yeah.
And every other female-led action film. All right.
Also, Norman Reedus plays a character in this, and I swear to God,
just Norman Reedus.
It's just Norman Reedus, but I just shout outs to the dude who was doing the design on the sound effects of this, because he has a shotgun, and I've never heard, like, he's one of the loudest fucking shotguns I've heard in a movie in any noticeable time. Like, every time they cut to Norman Reedus firing off this thing, I was like, fuck, that is a loud shotgun.
All right. So I watched the first 3 episodes of the new Apple TV Plus comedy series Stick, starring Owen Wilson. What did you think of when I mentioned that name? The name of the show.
Stick?
Yeah.
My master.
Okay.
Teaches me kung fu.
From Dead. Oh, fucking. So it follows Bryce Cahill is a former professional golf player who blew up in a big viral moment. Like, he made a missed shot and he like threw a big tantrum on like a major, like one of the big golf events, and then he kind of gave up being a professional golfer. At least that's how it's kind of set up at the start. He's now currently a golf salesman and also trying to be a coach. He's he's very good just talking people into any kind of situation. Like, the show opens with him trying to sell this golf club to someone who has not played golf at all, and gets him to buy a very expensive one and that kind of thing. So he comes across Santi, who's a young golfer who's just smashing he's incredible, hits the ball so sweetly, hits it incredibly accurate. So he tries to convince him to let him be his coach and try and qualify him for a big amateur tournament. So that's the basic premise of the show. It's them going on the road, to these multiple tournaments. So the supporting cast, you've got Mark Maron as Mitz, who's Price's former caddy and friend. So when you see in the trailer, he's like shit talking him or whatever. They're running a hustle. he's hustling these people into believing, like he can make this big putt or whatever, and then like he blows it on purpose. So they split the winnings and that kind of thing. So he's in the show. He's broken up with his ex-wife, played by Judy Greer, and they are selling the house that they had together that he's been living in all this time, because Santi's mother, Elena, wants $100,000 to to pay it up front for the rights to take Santi on the road or whatever. So this is finally this moment of him kind of accepting and like moving forward and that kind of thing. But it's also implied kind of in the show that maybe there were some marital problems due to something happening to their infant son, who does not appear in the show. So, or hasn't appeared in the show so far. Kind of just left in the unspoken. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying it. I mean, it kind of feels like it was written for Owen Wilson. Just his delivery of all the lines and like the way he talks and all that kind of stuff. He's got good chemistry with the actors playing Santi, Peter Dagger. Mark Maron is delightful and just kind of playing the kind of guy you would kind of expect. Kind of weird that he's playing a widower who's owns the camper van that you've seen the trailers of them driving around in. So he's kind of still post his wife dying, kind of not used to people being all up into space. So yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. It's like 3 episodes, obviously half-hour sports comedy. It's enjoyable. It's definitely not Ted Lasso. I mean, I think that's the most obvious thing to say off the bat, because naturally the comparisons are right there. Known comedian, sports movie, Apple TV Plus. But yeah, I'm enjoying what it's delivering so far. So I'm keen to keep watching each week. So that is Stick. All right, Dylan, I'm guessing you just binge watched a bunch of true crime documentaries this week. I assume when you're putting together all the Summer Games Fest showcase articles that we'll had to do this weekend.
You know what makes the saddest thing is, you know what makes really good like background side content?
People be murdered.
Yeah. And I feel bad to say it, but
it's true. I guess my first question is, did you just type monster into Max? Because like half of these have monster in the title.
I'll take you on a journey. I'm sitting here. I think it started on Saturday morning. Or I'm looking for something to put on as I'm putting together one of these articles, and I look on Netflix first. I just look on Netflix and go, no, nothing. Oh, maybe I haven't looked for what documentaries does Max have, because I haven't really looked around there. So I go to Max. I like just look around the section, and I see that Jared from Subway catching a monster one there, and I'd heard of this one. Obviously, I knew they did a series thing on him. I was like, all right, I'll watch that. So that's how I started this journey. Now, as the preceding days occurred, all I did was finish one, and then when it popped up and recommended 4 other things, I clicked on one of those.
Congrats, Max. You're very successful. Hitting your target audience,
I mean, it's not often I say I finish something and actually click on the would you like to watch this? But Max gave me like 4 options. And I said, you know what, that one there. Yeah, let's do that one. So, yeah, how many did I watch here? I watched Jared from Subway, Greens River Killer, The Butcher Baker, Command of a Monster, The Cheshire Murders.
Oh, 5. I thought it was 6.
And then Ken and Barbie Killers, the Lost Murder Tapes. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to start with Jared from Subway?
Yeah, obviously, I feel like everyone knows who Jared, whatever his name is, from Subway was. He was the Subway spokesperson, turned out to be a pedophile. I feel like everyone knows the story, but I too didn't really know I'd never watched this or looked it up enough to care about him.
The dirty details.
Yeah, the dirty details. So, yeah, look, he's a terrible person, and but he was working with another terrible person, which I didn't realize. Like the one of the dudes who was working with his foundation was also a rampant pedophile, so they were pedophiling together and being terrible people together. So that was what I learned from this one. So yeah, he's in jail. I looked it up. Apparently, he is getting out in I think 3 or 4 years. There you
go. All right. Then you watch Green River Killer. Mind of a Monster.
Never heard this one, but this one was quite dark and terrible. I mean, anyone getting killed is dark and terrible. I don't know. So this one, yeah, this guy is really like, so this starts in the 80s and it goes all the way through to, I think the early 2000s is when they actually finally catch him. Like it goes for nearly 20 years, I think, of killing this dude. And he's just Gary Ridgway is the dude's name. He's just a terrible, like, serial killer, fucked up person who would literally, and they have the police interview tapes where he would say, he would just be like, yeah, I was just driving down the road and I didn't set out to kill anyone, but then, I saw this lady and I was like, my brain would go, I just want to fucking kill her. So I did.
That's not terrifying at all.
No, imagine. Also, it's just like he, I mean, they sort of touch on it in this. They attempt to do it. Like, I thought this was a good documentary. I should be rating him somewhat. The Jared from Subway one was good. I think that was decent, 3-episode thing. This one I thought was a good documentary as well because they attempted to delve into the psychology a bit of him. It's very obvious. I know this sounds like a joke, but everything delves from mummy issues. Like that is he has a deep hatred of women that are driven from his mother growing up. So yeah, that was a good, if you it's always weird. Yeah, go watch the serial killer document. Yeah, that was good. Next one is the Butcher Baker Mind of Monster. I didn't think this was a good one. This one wasn't quite as didn't give me as many details and just felt a little bit like, I don't know, less focused than some of the like for the previous one, for example. But it follows this guy who
was he a butcher and a baker?
No, he was a baker, and I guess the butcher is that
the butcher is the killing bit.
Yeah, the killing bit. So he was a baker is his job. But yeah, what's his name? Robert Hansen, killed for 12 years, in Alaska. But so he would basically trick women in different ways to come with him, and he had a family and a wife and everything. But so did the other dude. They always have family somehow, and they somehow managed. I struggle to get time to do work and explosion at work, and somehow these serial killers managed to kill people, hide bodies, and work full-time jobs. Sometimes it was quite impressive, honestly, their time management skills. Nonetheless, so he would like take these people. He'd be like, "Oh, I can fly a plane." He'd fly them out to the middle of the ice there in Alaska, and he would be like, "Let's go hunting or whatever," and he would go out there and he would kill them. So, yeah, I mean that's sort of it. I feel like I didn't get a lot about the who, what, why on this person, to be honest. He didn't want to give it. I think that's the key difference is the Green River Killer one in the police tapes. They actually got him to open up, and that made for a more interesting documentary because they attempted to understand him more. Whereas this guy just didn't want to talk, so it doesn't really help. The Cheshire Murders. I don't really like this one because as much as I do enjoy a good serial killer documentary, I don't like when they feel just, I don't know, a little bit like
glorifying
all over the place. Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's just feels a little bit all over the place. This one, because it follows. I just don't know. Like the cameras were in there so early, it just made me feel weird. Like that, if that makes sense. Like they started Like, where was all this footage coming from? Is the thing. But basically, these two dudes, they set out. Well, at the start of the night, they set out to burglarize, to burgle a house, I guess. And they get in there and they like tie them up or whatever, the family. But then as the night proceeds, things take a dark turn, and a lot of the film's about which one of these two dudes is the one that like changed the direction of everything. But like basically they take the mother. So there's a father and mother and like two daughters in the house. But as one of the dudes takes the wife to the bank to get money out for them, she like slips a note to the bank teller, like saying, "Hey, I need help" or something like that. So that's how they manage to get the cops to arrive. Then, but while this dude's out doing this, the other one then decides he's going to rape the young girls. So we're already off on a completely different change of direction now. But then when he gets back, they're like, "Oh," and especially once they see the cops, they decide, "Well, we've just got to burn the house down to hide all the evidence because we'll escape." But they don't just like hide the evidence; they decide to. Then the other one decides he's going to, sexually assault people, and then they burn they put the petrol all over the people, so they're basically burnt alive. It's terrible, right? Mm-hmm. It is completely fucked up. But yeah, so the cameras getting there fast. The one person who survives is the dad, who was tied up downstairs and manages to like sort of escape, and obviously has to recover in hospital and stuff like that. But so then a lot of the rest of the documentary is just the attempt to talk to people behind both the killers, their family, to try and, I guess, either justify or not justify why they would have done what they would have done if this is in their past, all this sort of stuff. But then once the court case starts, it's the at the time, death penalty was still legal in whatever state it is. I can't remember. And the father surviving, he wants them to get the death penalty. But of course, most other people don't. Basically, from numerous reasons of either people that don't believe in the death penalty because they just don't want that to be a thing, like humanitarian reasons, I guess, or simply because of how much it costs. Usually, when you put someone on the death penalty, because it just never straight happens, and there's all these appeals, and there's a note at the end of the film that says it's going to cost like $8 million in taxpayer funds to go for all the appeals and all this sort of stuff about how much it costs to actually put someone on death row properly, I guess. But yeah, look, it felt a little bit all over the place. It felt like the cameras were in there super early. It just made me a bit uncomfortable. There's a lot of weird scenes where the surviving father's like sitting around a table with his, like his family. That's like his mum, dad, and his wife's sister and stuff like that. And it's just like there's a lot of like fly in the wall cameras, but it just seems like there's two cameramen in the room. It just feels weird to me. Like it's just, I don't know, just too many cameras too early. Always just confuses me.
All right,
I'm like, what's going on? And the last one was a 4-episode series one called Ken and Barbie Killers: The Lost Murder Tapes. This was okay. The story, I guess, was intriguing. I wouldn't say I got a lot about the actual people, which again is the problem with these. But it's basically like this guy is a rapist, and but he doesn't kill people at the start, at least. And then he like meets this girl, and they get married, and all these sorts of things. And then he starts killing people as well, and then beating up his wife. Wife escapes, goes to cops. They start building a case against him. But slowly, as episodes progress, you find out that she was like involved in some of the stuff too. And then as the court case begins, it's a whole who's going to get caught for what crime and all this sort of stuff. It is known. It's a huge case in Canada. One of the most prolific cases, this leads to me to believe, and my quick Google search after watching it, most prolific cases in Canada, simply because of how all over the place the court proceeding was and how much news coverage it was getting and stuff like that at the time, because there was nothing as prolific as this that had ever happened at the time, and also because it's the first time in Canada, or well, definitely in Canada, they say that videotape evidence had been used in a case like this, because the big piece of evidence they actually managed to find is that he loved to videotape everything because he's a narcissist, and he of course videotaped all the fucked up shit he was doing to these kidnapped women before killing them, and they play those in the court, which I'm sure was really good for the jury who was part of that. And they talk about at the end how a lot of those people then had to get like support for PTSD because they had to watch these terrible things. So
Great.
yeah.
All right. That's everything I watched this tree. Let's move into some film news.
I just want to say I did swing out of that. I've now started watching season 2 of Guy Montgomery's Spelling Bee. So.
Oh, okay, so you're like complete 180.
Yeah. I'm like, let me get some
humor,
get some laughs in here, you know.
Yeah, I mean, well, the news this week mostly revolves around horror films, so I mean, it's not going much better.
Oh.
I would say.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, the big kind of debate around the internet at the moment is around who's going to get the rights to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Some reading from AV Club. Lots of people would kill to be a part of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the profitable film franchise at least. Deadline reports that multiple major names are about to duke it out for the right to hold the chainsaw, with the priced IP going to the highest bidder. Hopefully everyone else comes out in one piece. There are anywhere from 5 to 8 studios in the field, according to the trade. There are apparently no clear frontrunners as of this time of writing, with multiple studio-backed creatives emerging to join the fray. Yellowstone creator Taylor Sheridan is leading a charge, though he's only participated in a future adaptation as producer. Jordan Peele's Monkey Paw also has his eye on the project in a similar production-only capacity. The indie studio would likely produce with Universal should it win the rights. Neon is putting forward a team that includes the Monkey and Longlegs director Oz Perkins, as well as The Strangers director Brian Bertino. Perkins would produce and co-write with Bertino, who's on board to direct. Then there's It and Weapons producer Roy Lee, who wants it so much that he has 2 bids on the table. The first is some sort of TV pitch with A24, and Strange Darling director JT Molnar, which would reportedly involve Glenn Powell, but not in a starring role. He's also thrown his hat in the ring with a separate Netflix-based pitch, although it's unclear whether that would be a film or TV series. The victor will be determined by Verve and Exubia Films, the franchise's current rights holder. Whichever team is chosen will have access to the entire Leatherface canon, including 9 films thus far, books, comics, video games, and a new permanent Universal attraction titled Universal Horror Unleashed. Conversations are slated to begin on Monday, so we'll likely see how this Hollywood Chainsaw Massacre plays out over the coming weeks. Dylan, which of those appeals the most to you as someone who recently watched a bunch of Texas Chainsaw Massacre films?
Maybe the weapons director guy?
The producer.
Producer, sorry? Yeah.
So the Glenn Powell TV show?
Yeah. Glenn Powell TV show. I feel like a TV show could work well if...
A24, Strange Darling director. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's more involved. Glenn Powell's name just is popped in for some reason. I don't know.
Okay. Who are the other ones? I'll just do a quick list again.
I mean, Oz Perkins and Brian Bertino. Then there's Monkey Paw with John Peel. And then Taylor Sheridan producing.
Yeah, I'll take Monkey Paw to be my
second choice.
Second choice. If I go one for a TV pick and then one for a movie pick, yeah.
Okay.
Monkey Paw would be, I think they would attempt to do more of the typical slasher route with a new twist on it, I guess. But there is something about the TV show route, and like because the franchise at times has been known for its wild personalities and characters, and the lore within the town itself, and I think a TV show would allow time to expand upon that element.
Yeah, I have no idea. I feel like the fact there's 9 films, that's crazy. It's based on a true story.
Yeah.
It was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
And why doesn't this Leatherface just use a different weapon? That's how you get people off your tracks. Can't be Leatherface. You killed him with a spike. Bunch of knives.
Just.
Anyway, the other interesting news story. Obviously, previously we talked about the Saw franchise coming to an immediate halt, in the process of making of the latest one with disputes between the two producers. But it looks like the Saw franchise may be changing hands. Reading from ExplosionNetwork.com, the Saw franchise is coming home in a roundabout way. Deadline is reporting that Blumhouse is set to acquire the Twisted Pictures portion of the IP, which will see it back under the banner that James Wan, the creator of the franchise, works under for his films. Lionsgate will continue to own 50% of the franchise in a co-op deal for future films. The last film in the series, Saw X, saw the franchise return to new highs at the box office, and although there has been plenty back and forth and in reports about how the 11th film would and could have been played, it has all but reportedly stalled, or in this case, it has ended. It appears it has ended. If this deal goes through, it'll plan a fresh production start with Blumhouse producers now involved in the future direction of the series and the next installment. How do you feel about Saw going to Blumhouse?
Yeah, I'm down for that. Get James Wan to, not obviously direct it. I don't think he needs to go down that route, but
produce or executive
produce and just executive produce, and maybe
bring his name back to it.
Maybe have a story treatment, even maybe just be involved in the general story again. Come home, baby.
Do you think they attempt to continue the story that was set out, like you saw 10?
I haven't actually watched it yet.
Okay,
I need to, but yeah. Well, I mean, it's a prequel anyway, so
they just do they go with a blank slate, or they continue the lineage of these Saw films?
It is a interesting question. I think the problem is this: John Kramer, the character, is just such a big part everyone loves about the franchise. But unlike other series, like say like a Jason Voorhees or something, where it's a dude in a mask. If it's not, at a certain stage, we're not going to have Tobin. What's his name?
Tobin Bell?
No, yeah, Tobin Bell. Obviously to portray the part anymore. So I do wonder what their long term plans would be for the Saw franchise. I mean, they killed his character off in like the 3rd or 4th movie, so like that's a real testament to how how big of a character that character is to the series. So we shall see.
All right. That's all the film news for this week. Let's move into talking about giving some time to the trailers. Of course, you can find all the trailers we're about to talk about in the show notes below. And man, big week, massive week for trailers.
Wasn't it? Video games or movies? What are we talking about?
Everything. Just too many trailers came out this week. Would you agree?
Oh yeah.
All right. Kicking things off, we've got Alien Earth, developed by Noah Hawley, starring Sidney Chandler, Timothy Oliphant, Alex Lawther, Samuel Blaken, Essie Davis, and Adarsh Gurav. When a mysterious space vessel crash lands on Earth, Wendy and a ragtag group of tactical soldiers make a fateful discovery that puts them face to face with the planet's greatest threat. Dylan, what do you think of this first trailer for Alien Earth?
Yeah, double thumbs up. Looks fantastic. It looks a lot higher budget than I would have even thought, to be honest. When they announced it was a TV series, it just looks. I mean, it just looks like an alien film to me. It doesn't look like the low budget TV series thing at all. Story is really intriguing. Obviously, the element of it being set on Earth, people have always had all these big questions about how that works in the canon, because aliens weren't on Earth. That was the whole thing, So, yeah, intrigued. I'm very keen.
I think 2 thumbs up as well. It's a very interesting trailer. Obviously, from the opening of them, transferring someone's consciousness into a
New body,
new
synthetic
body.
body.
The first hybrid, apparently.
Mm.
In a world, obviously, we've seen synthetics in a bunch of these movies, but it seems like this is the first. Like, this is set after all the other films.
No, before.
No, 2 years before. Okay, the original film.
Yeah,
which is that's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I also think that having the TV show, I think I'm hoping that it'll give them, they get a chance to explore some more stuff like the synthetic technology and stuff like that. So,
but yeah, I mean, they seem to have captured the correct tone for you would expect from these films, from this franchise. Spooky shit, and it's like, sure, it's filled with jump scares and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely intriguing, like, to see how they work with the canon and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I don't know that I've seen that actress in anything. So, but it's cool to see what's his face, Alex Author from Andor. Yeah. He sent an entire. Oh, that's interesting.
The end of the fucking world.
Yeah, end of the no. The lead actress is Sydney Chandler, daughter of Kyle Chandler.
Oh, but yeah,
another nepo baby.
Yeah. Did you see Timothy Oliphant's haircut in this as well?
I didn't even reckon on any point. I was too busy covering my eyes.
Also, shout out Essie Davis.
Essie Davis, yeah. So. That's very good. So Alien Earth is coming to Disney Plus on 13th of August. Next trailer is for Kiss of the Spider-Woman. Directed by Bill Condon, starring Jennifer Lopez and, speaking of Andor, Diego Luna and Tona Tua. Set in an Argentinian prison in 1981 during the Dirty War, Luis Molina, a gay hairdresser, is serving an 8-year sentence for allegedly corrupting a minor. To escape the horrors of his imprisonment, Molina imagines films starring a classic screen actress named Ingrid Luna, including a role of the Spider-Woman who kills her prey with a kiss. Molina's life is upended when a Marxist, Valentin Agui Paz, is brought into his cell, and the two form an unlikely bond. Dylan, what did you think of this trailer for Kiss of the Spider-Woman?
Yeah, double thumbs up for the trailer. I'm intrigued how the entire project could come together. Very interesting story and everything like that. We'll say I'm like just so. I mean, she looks fine. This I am like wary of anything which is, to be honest. So, but I mean, she's mostly
Hustlers was great.
So. Yeah. You're right. The rest of the things though, that's a mix. But yeah, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I'll give it 2 thumbs up as well. It looks very interesting. It just the whole makeup of this obviously is based on a 1976 novel, but then it was turned into a stage musical. That I don't believe had a very lengthy run. Which is what this is based on. What the musical ran on Broadway in 1994, I think. Yeah, I mean, very intriguing. Like all the it seems like it's a bunch of like imagination scenes or like dreams, or I don't know how it all kind of pulls together. But yeah, I mean, I like the cast. I mean, cool to see Diego Luna and more stuff now. Obviously held up for a while doing all the Andor stuff. So, yeah, looks very intriguing. So, all right. Kiss of the Spider-Woman is coming to the cinemas 10th of October in the United States. Currently no confirmed Australian release date. Next trailer is for Freakier Friday, directed by Nisha Ganatra, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Lindsay Lohan, Mark Harmon, Chad Michael Murray, Rosalind Chow, Ryan Malgarini, Christina Vidal Mitchell, Haley Hudson, Stephen Tobolowsky, Lucille Song, Julia Butters, Sophia Hammonds, Manny Jacinto, Maitreyi Ramakrishna, and Vanessa Bayer. 22 years after Tess and Anna endured an identity crisis, Anna now has a daughter and a soon-to-be stepdaughter. As they navigate the challenges that come when two families merge, Tess and Anna discover that lightning might strike twice. So then would it be surprised you to say if I told you that I have not seen Freaky Friday? Any
No.
Freaky Friday?
No, that doesn't surprise me.
Okay, cool. What do you
Not
think of
this
this trailer?
stage. I'm going to go one up, one down. I mean, the first movie is a lot of fun. This looks to be hitting on a lot of the same beats. They've named the same joke in the trailer about that's my therapist, which is from the first movie. I will say that I feel like the trailer, the only reason I'm going one up, one down is because the trailer starts, it does like a good mix of like introducing this weird the dynamic between the daughter and the stepdaughter, and we see split second of Benny DeCento and all stuff, but then the back end of the trailer is just mostly antics between the
daughters,
yeah,
the teenage girls,
which is fine, but just felt like we're doing the same thing again. I'm like, yeah, do the same thing, but I still want something different.
I mean, I'll give it one up down as well because it's fine. I think they are doing something different where it's these two teenage sisters, or soon-to-be stepsisters. Well, it's these two girls who obviously don't like each other, who are now put in old people's bodies, deciding we're going to break up this wedding. That's a interesting dynamic. But I think, then we don't get to see any of the other side in this trailer of the Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis being teenagers again. And is that going to be an interesting element, or is it just going to be the Lindsay Lohan, Jamie Lee Curtis show? You know what I mean? Are we only just going to see the one side of the story? But yeah, I mean, it looks intriguing enough. I'll probably catch up and watch this one, I guess, if I get invited to a screening. This one is coming to cinemas on the 7th of August. Next trailer is for A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, directed by Kogonada, starring Margot Robbie, Colin Farrell, Kevin Kline, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge. The story about a pair of strangers and the unimaginable journey that ties them together. Dylan, what do you think of this trailer?
Yeah, I'm going to double thumbs up on this one. I thought it looked really intriguing. I love this is a Kogonada thing, isn't it?
Kogonada.
Kogonada, thank you. That's why I was saying it that way, because I'm like, I'm not saying that right. Yeah, look, has that. I love it's like, let's just take the core concept of a meet cute scenario and just surround it in a weird, fantastical element, and they'll make these characters dive into their past together while they're meeting each other. Why not? The chemistry looked really good as well, so that helps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2 thumbs up from me. I mean, I'm a big fan of After Yang, Kogonada's last film. This cast is very, like, I mean, Margot Robbie, who we haven't seen in anything since Barbie, I don't think. She took a break. Yeah. And Colin Farrell, they look like they have great chemistry, and like her joking, is that accent real? I think it was really enjoyable. I think the funniest thing to me is this trailer brings, I feel like we saw another movie trailer, like with Lucy Hale in it, that had a very similar concept of like going through somebody's past relationships that we never got around to watching.
Not ringing a bell.
But this one seems to be more of their lives rather than just their past relationships, breaking that down. So yeah, it looks fantastic, and the idea that the car just brought them back together, very odd, but I'm here for it. So this one is coming to cinemas on the 18th of September. Last trailer for this week, which I've been seen everywhere. Wicked for Good, directed by John M. Chu, starring Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, Jonathan Bailey, Ethan Slater, Marissa Bode, Michelle Yeoh, and Jeff Goldblum. Now demonized as the Wicked Witch of the West, Elphaba lives in exile in the Ozian forest, while Glinda resides at the palace of the Emerald City, reveling in the perks of fame and popularity. As an angry mob rises against the Wicked Witch, she'll need to reunite with Glinda to transform herself and all of Oz for good. Dylan, what do you think of this trailer?
Yeah, double thumbs up. It looks it just looks like the second part of the Wicked movie, yeah. But that's not a bad thing. I'll say that I think the number one thing I was thinking about while watching this trailer was just how crazy and good it is that you have a big event movie like Wicked, and then within a year you get a sequel, and how much that's going to help keep the passion and the energy that everyone's had for this film continue, because the sequel comes in a timely manner compared to if they said it's taken 2 years because they filmed it. They waited 6 months until after
they didn't have faith that it was going to be
hit. Something like that. And then I'm like, it really just goes to show sometimes.
I mean, it's very nostalgic for probably us, like, who grew up. Lord of the Rings coming out every year, but then the Harry Potter movies coming out every year. Like, them always feeling like event things that you're looking forward to.
If you want to compare it to like Stranger Things or something, like, I know it's a TV show, but we're talking about recently how that is completely like burnt out its hype because of how long it's taken.
Yeah.
And then we talk about a lot of the even movies where some of the sequels take like 3-4 years before you see a follow up to it. It's just like, good lord, you get really excited and then you're burnt out. So I think that's the number one thing to highlight for this for me. Yeah.
But yeah, 2 thumbs up. Looks like more of the same, which is a good thing. Although it seems to be leaning a little bit more into it actually being musical than the first batch of trailers for Wicked did. And just kind of all the teasers and that kind of stuff, I think is really great. So looking forward to finding out what happens to this friendship. Surely it can't go pear-shaped in any sort of way, right? Wicked, for good, is coming to cinemas on the 20th of November.
I'm going to watch The Wizard of Oz to find out what happened. Get some spoilers from that.
It's crazy. Like, Dorothy and that are in the trailer, right?
Yeah, because it's this film ends up crossing into the. I looked it up once before the first film came out because I didn't understand what Wicked was because I'd never seen the play. Obviously, I remember looking it up, and basically, I think it's second act or whatever, which we're about to see with this film. They end up like crossing over into the same storyline or like time period that Dorothy's coming down.
Yep.
So.
All right, let's move into this week's top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
I already told you, Shrek, Flushed Away, and Turbo.
No, this week's top 3 is top 3 current working composers. Because this week, the big screen concert experience, Hans Zimmer and Friends, Diamond in the Desert, is releasing in cinemas.
I was really confused by you.
So that's the tie-in.
Right. Okay.
So Dylan, what's your number 3?
We'll say I struggled to this list. I've still got I've got 7 names in front of me.
You can come back and we can do honorable mentions after.
No. That defeats the whole purpose.
You'll never know what the other 4 names were.
Let's go. All right, go number 3, Michael Giacchino.
Okay.
Who? I'm trying to. No, or should I? Yeah, no, I'm committed. No, I'm committed. I've said it now. I believe he's doing the Fantastic Four stuff. I'm just trying to double check that. Is that 100%?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what did he do recently that I'm forgetting? It's the other thing. Hold on.
Batman.
Yeah, Batman. Banger. Batman was his last banger. I mean, look, he's obviously. I can't say if I went and listened to the If soundtrack, if the music would be better than the film. Can't remember. But also, Society in Stone, that was a really, out of his more recent stuff, I really quite enjoyed that. That a good piece as well. Of course, all the Spider-Man films recently and stuff like that. And then he has his time working with the Incredibles films, the Disney stuff and the Apes films and stuff. So long lineage history, but yeah, a lot of really good stuff recently as well.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Giacchino is my number 2. So, like you said, I mean, the Batman score recently, I've done a lot of Marvel stuff, but it also has a long history with Pixar and some of their best scores. That's all really fantastic. I mean, the most recent Jurassic World films, obviously the best Mission Impossible film, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. You know, a long story list of films that he's worked on, and even TV shows. Like he did the Skeleton Key score, or no, he produced that. He's done some other stuff. So worked on Alias and Lost, all those shows. So yeah, here's my number 2. My number 3, Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor, the team. I don't know if I could separate them anyway. Obviously, Social Network score iconic. Challenger's Call was robbed last year of the
Just
Academy
won
Award.
something though.
Huh?
I saw it won something the other day.
It should have won everything.
They did some more musical award show or something, and it won there. So.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, anytime they're attached to something, my interest in that project goes up a little bit, which is true, I guess, of all these composers. But, they've had a really great run, even when they're working on Soul, which seems like a very crazy shift for what they do, what they've done previous, or even in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem score was fantastic. Bunch of really cool projects that they've worked on. So yeah, then my number 3. Dylan, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Ludwig Göransson.
Okay.
Recently, obviously, Sinners, one of the best movies of the year. Music in that is phenomenal and a huge part of the movie as well. And previous to that, we've got Oppenheimer, Black Panther, Turning Red, Bad Trip, Tenet, Creed, Venom, Silence, definitely like Black Panther, the first one, of course. Absolute, and he's only been going for, and I guess we're taking thing, like he's only been going since the early 2000s. So I think he's just someone very quickly rose to the top, and he's also so young that as someone with this particular skill set is only going to get presumably better. So really exciting to see his career go forward, I think.
Yep. Ludwig Göransson is my current number 1. All those scores you mentioned, it's crazy to think that he started working on Community because he was friends with Donald Glover.
Yeah.
That's his earliest credits, working on that show and working on other comedies like Happy Endings and New Girl. Of course, also on the TV front, the stuff he did for The Mandalorian, which was iconic. It definitely set the tone for that TV show. But yeah, all the music for all the Black Panther stuff and Creed and stuff. He did the music for Turning Red, the Pixar movie, and the boy band stuff as well. So, he's got all the range. And then he does fucking Sinners, and you assume he's going to win the Academy Award this year. I'd be shocked if there's something better. But, and then The Odyssey next year. Crazy. So, yeah, here's my number 1. Don't. What's your number 1?
My number 1's Hans Zimmer. I know it's a somewhat boring answer, but
yeah,
I think it's the correct pick as much as I went backwards and forwards on it. He's probably the oldest still working person who I know is
John Williams. Is he finally retired?
I think he's finally retired. That's the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, people go to these. You just mentioned the concert film thing. He goes on. He's someone who draws in people to his concerts because he has so many years of iconic music that he's able to play to draw in audiences for stuff like that. So I don't know, we're all over the place from fucking Lion King to Gladiator to Nolan stuff over the last few years. So You know, the guy's been around.
Fucking Dune.
Fucking Dune.
Inventing instruments to play.
Yeah, inventing instruments to play Dune.
All right, that's our top 3. Dylan, this week, what do you want to watch?
This week, I would like to watch Materialists is my movie pick that I'm excited to watch. I don't believe there's anything else coming on TV though. Is there? Are you aware? Am I missing anything?
Not really. Yeah, there's nothing really that I would have a great desire to see on TV this week. But yes, I'm also very keen for the Materialists. That looks like it's going to be pretty fantastic. Sling Song's Past Lives was brilliant. So, yeah, I think that's probably it for this week. Other than I would still recommend people go see How to Train Dragon. Yeah, let us know what you want to watch this week by letting us know on Blue Sky at ExplosionNetwork.com or find us on other social media at ExplosionPod. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars. Anyone can leave 5 stars or just tell people about the show. And if you've enjoyed this episode, $1 per dollar, head on over to our Ko-fi page at ExplosionNetwork.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Last question, Dylan. What do you think of the latest episode, Game Changer?
Wild. Sam Reich is a
menace.
Is a menace, to be honest. Yeah, without spoiling it, yeah. There's stronger women than I,
What a twist.
Mm.
Keep watching stuff, I guess.